Hello guys, it's Ryan Ho back with another video. Today we have the Tanchjim Tanya to review. Now this IEM comes in at a price of $24. It's probably one of the best tuned ones I've heard. It sounds very natural for its price of $24. I think it's a good value at that price, and there's a small issue with it that I'll talk about, but it might not matter depending on who you are and what you're using it for. So anyways, please like and subscribe down below. I make more headphone and audio related reviews, and I also make tech reviews if you want to follow that and not miss any of those notifications. And yeah, let's talk about the build and then I'll talk about the sound. And it just comes with some extra ear tips to fit your size. Looking at it, it's fairly basic and nothing special. It has this little plastic covering, and then the back is kind of circled out. And I actually think it's really hard to tell, well, what's left and right, but I found finally the indicators are down here in black. So, it might be easier just to memorize that the Tanchjim is the right and the Tanya is the left. That's engraved in the logo. That might just be easier to see than on this very back part, which is really small. The cable is attached. It's a pretty good looking cable. I like it. And it just terminates into a 3.5 millimeter, so it'll work with any device. So you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, that's basically it for the build of this thing. It's just silicone tips, and yeah. So how does this sound? Honestly, this tuning is almost perfect, if not really perfect, because it sounds really just balanced and natural. Like the bass in this has enough kick where you're having fun, but not so much that it gets like muddy and like bloated. So the bass is really good and fun, right? And then when it comes to like the mids and like the treble, like for male vocalists, female vocalists, it just sounds exceedingly natural and normal. I can't sense anything weird about them. Like it just sounds really great. And then in the high range, like it sounds detailed without being fatiguing either. So I feel like this is just an all around really great tuned earbud that almost anybody can use. And the other thing is like this design isn't like those, I guess, more audiophile ones that go around your ears. This one is just a normal earbud with a really good tuning. So I think that is an advantage for people who don't like the ones that go over your ear. And even if I compare it to something like this is the One More triple driver. This thing comes in at around 100, but then on sale you can find it for around 70. I would rather listen to this than this when it comes to just pure sound quality. It's just better. It sounds more balanced and natural than this, which sounds really bloated in the bass and it kind of bleeds into like the mids on this. So yeah, for I guess almost half its price or even less, I think this is a better buy than this. However, there is one thing that I noticed about this that is not all peachy and rosy. And the thing I noticed was that the soundstage and imaging of this is probably the worst I've ever heard in anything. And what I mean by that is like basically your directionality of like where things are coming from and how far they sound is really bad. So I played Valorant to test this out because I was like, oh wow, this thing sounds really great, like very natural. Let's see how well it performs in games. And if it does well in that too, I'll also be like, wow, this is like the best thing I've heard. However, that's not the case. I've never struggled so much to play Valorant Deathmatch in my entire life. When I was playing, when things should be like in front of me, you to like the left, it didn't really sound like it was there. It was kind of sounded like more to the left. So it doesn't really have really good center placement. And then the other thing is like when enemies were like above me or below me, it didn't really have a huge range to tell if it's above and below, so I kind of struggled. And then even from like in front of me and behind me, I started struggling to sounds like if they were in front or behind me, which is like a weird thing too that I was struggling with, which I normally don't have an issue with at all. And like to compound all of those things, the like depth of soundstage, it was like almost non-existent. Like I've never heard something so just flat in my life. Like literally enemies that should sound far away sounded like they're right next to me, and things that were really close to me sound like they're right next to me too. And I was just very confused. So in that sense, it's one of the worst I have ever heard. Like I feel like this would be a learning experience for me of what bad soundstage and imaging would be this. And so with that, it kind of leads me to the conclusion where I think it's amazingly tuned. And if you're listening to music, I don't think soundstage and imaging matters as much unless you're playing like competitive SPS games. And I think if you're just listening to music, I think these are perfectly fine. For $24, I would take these because they sound that good. But if you wanted to like, you know, play FPS games with these or you care about kind of the staging of the sounds, then this one might not be the perfect pair for you and you might want to look at something else. Anyways, please like and subscribe down below. It helps my videos out. If this helps you guys, then leave a like, that'd be great. Comment down below what your favorite IEM is. Maybe you like something else that you think is better than this, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Already shut off. What's up? Did you hear me?